As is Speaker Chatfield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to this. And I didn't initially plan on speaking, but I do want to reference several comments that have been made within this chamber and do my absolute best to be a representation of what many other people in this chamber believe on why we are currently passing this bill, but while still offering our hand of partnership to the governor to work with this. Now, I've heard many passionate speeches on both sides. Quite frankly, this is something that none of us in this chamber planned for. A manual was not given to the president to learn and know how to deal with COVID-19, nor was a manual given to this governor or any governor in the country or to this legislature. Quite frankly, this is not a question about this administration or this governor. That's not the question before the House today. The question before the House is on whether or not we codify certain executive orders that we believe are important so we can work in a partnership with the governor moving forward. Now, it was referenced by one of my colleagues that it was after World War II, the legislature came together in a bipartisan way in partnership with the governor at that time to create the State of Emergency Act. What I want to point out, though, is a fact that I believe was passed over that is very important to what we're doing today. It's that after a pandemic and during a sense of emergency, you saw a legislative body that was within this very same hall and this very same chamber work with the governor. They partnered with the governor and they came to a decision together. They understood there were emergencies around them, but they did not let that stop them from a partnership. It was mentioned that we are in a global pandemic. This is something that is impacting the entire world. Here in the United States of America, in the great state of Michigan, we have processes and a constitution by which we handle pandemics like this, and it is called separation of powers, checks and balances that are enumerated within our Constitution to ensure in moments like this, we have an active democratic process. That process has been fought for. People have died for that process. And we today are wanting to continue that process in a partnership. It was referenced the number of lives that have been taken here in the state of Michigan. And it is a tragedy. It truly is terrible. But what's not calculated in that statistic that was provided on the floor are the other lives that have been negatively impacted unnecessarily because of how we have handled this pandemic. Now, we believe you can prioritize public health, yet be reasonable in your approach to fighting COVID. There is a misnomer out there, a complete false narrative, that you either have to choose public health or you have to choose jobs to put food on the table, or you have to choose constitutional rights, because in a time of crisis, you can't have all three, and that is false. There's been a lot of talk in this state and this country about what is essential. The lives of Michigan residents and ensuring people can put food on the table and our Constitution are all still as essential today as they were before COVID-19 ever came into our state and this country. And we cannot forget that. It was mentioned that this bill seeks to tie the governor's hands. I could not disagree more. This is not tying anyone's hands. This is the legislature extending our hand to the governor and saying the same way that legislators in this state and in the United States of America since our birth have worked together and have worked through partisan disagreements and have worked through pandemics and have worked through different crises, the same way that they found a way to come together in a partnership and work together, we can do right now. The entire framework of our system of government was built on the idea of separation of powers. We want to partner with this governor. We want to work with this governor. And we are extending our hand to the governor. I hope, for the sake of people around our entire state, that she takes our hand and works with us and builds bridges. That is what we were all sent here to do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.